about to go. And for me to start the show. Outside lights go up from home. Whoa!
Wants to go, will accept the deal to Boston. It's interesting. And Jimmy Haslam, who owns part of the Bucks and owns the Cleveland Browns, just made his blockbuster trade with Myles Garrett. And what he got back in return was Jared Verse, a very good player. What I was told today was Haslam wants his player. They want someone where they can say, hey, we got this guy. The guy is not Tyler Hero. I'm not sure anymore the guy is Khalil Ware. But man, Jaylen Brown or someone you acquire for Jaylen Brown in a three-team trade could be the guy. So I think the Bucks to a degree are serving dual masters. There was John Horst working to keep his job as the GM of the Bucks, but you know these owners, Channing, especially the NFL, they get very involved. And I think that's part of the equation now. The Bucks want to have their trophy. They want to say, yes, we lost a top 5 player, but hey.
Oh, yeah, there's that whole owner ego thing. Kind of forgot about that. John Horst is over there trying to do what's right for the Bucks, and Jimmy Haslam was like, I'm in charge.
Yeah, kind of a tough dynamic when you bring in a new owner and he likes to do things his way.
He sure does.
Yeah.
Hashtag Myles Garrett.
Yeah, exactly.
Please, this is going to happen. It's happening. We just have to brace ourselves for it. What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Tuesday. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor Thomas, Aaron Morse in for Josh Albright again this morning, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, audio courtesy of Heat Central. The rumor mill is flowing with all sorts of ideas on how to get Giannis out of Milwaukee. Where will he land? Who will we get? Is it worth it? We'll find out. Let's play catch up.
Packers.
Matt LaFleur said last week that they're a wee bit light at the tight end position. Tucker Kraft not going to be ready for a little bit. Apparently, Luke Musgrave has something cooking. We got Wiley back there, but we need more. Enter tight end Luke Leachy to the pack. What do we know about him?
Well, he's a blocking guy. That's what I know. He's not going to do much outside of that. So maybe kind of throw back to like a Mercedes Lewis in that kind of role, or someone that they even had in recent years in terms of like, no, I can't name it just off the top of my head. But they've had a couple of blocking tight ends in their 3 and 4 spots behind Kraft and Musgrave. Kind of like that. They're not going to be anything special, explosives. But Leachy will just do a job.
Will he make the team?
I think it depends on the health of other guys.
Musgrave being hurt was not something we needed when Tucker Kraft was coming off of what he had going on. Wiley's not bad. This is a guy that we can depend on.
And he's in the system. He's been in the system, right? He's played and he's actually been on the field for the team. So like that helps a little bit. The other guy I was thinking of, maybe it was maybe he's not even on the team anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The name just has escaped me here as we begin the show. I'll find it eventually.
We'll ask Spoff. He'll have the answer.
Yeah, probably.
Mike Spofford will join us from Packers.com. What are we supposed to do as Packer fans? It's like rookie minicamp 2.0 this week, the last week of OTAs, and then nothing. Between now and when we see the guys again at the end of July, Spoff will hold our hand and help us process the next month-ish without much going on in terms of the Packers and football in Green Bay. So, all right. And that's it for the Pack. Moving on.
Brewers.
Miz had a night on Friday, in case you missed it, which clearly been the NL Player of the Week. In comes Jackson Chourio, who from June 8th to June 14th hit 13 hits, 5 home runs, had 10 RBI, and had a 448 batting average. Later in the show, we're going to talk about what it's like to have a one-upper friend. Come on, Jackson. Let a guy have a day. Or Come on, Miz. Let
I was
Jackson
going
have
to
a
say,
day.
Miz can let Jackson have his week too. Yeah.
Either way, the co-players of the week in the National League both wear the M and the B. It was a good week for those guys. Off day yesterday. Today, the Cleveland Guardians series starts here at home. 6:40 the start time today and tomorrow. 1:10 on Thursday. We'll preview that series later in the show. Gasser gets the ball today. He's 0-3. We're giving the Miz an extra day to make sure he's available for Atlanta later in the week/weekend. And that makes sense because Atlanta's the team that we would want to test ourselves against. Maybe not so much the Guardians. That might be something I take back. 4-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talking text line. What do you need to see from the Brewers this series against Cleveland that we may or may not be able to see against them? Because, Aaron, I think that the whole tonight thing is still a thing and will always be a thing. But I've also seen more strategery from Pat Murphy this season than I had in previous seasons, almost as if he's kind of playing chess, not checkers.
Well, they have a lead in the division that is semi-large at this point of the season. Yeah, so like, and it's from the Cardinals. It's not from the Cubs, who everyone thinks is the second best team in the division. So maybe they think it's a little larger. They can maybe play around a little bit at this point in the season just to see what they have, or to confirm some things for themselves, to maybe discover some things for themselves. And maybe this is part of it. But I think also just giving Miz an extra day isn't the end of the world. And they're probably going to do it at some point this year. And I bet they do it again some point in August and September, somewhere in there. Just skip a start or give him an extra 2 days because he hasn't thrown this many innings, or he won't be throwing this many innings in his career before in a single season. And especially at this velocity, he hasn't been doing it. So maybe just give him an extra day or so here or there is really the worst thing and probably the smart thing. Anyway, probably actually is more of a win now move because he's your best chance to win.
They're going to make Cooper Pratt official today.
Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. I was kind of waiting for it yesterday afternoon, evening, but they wouldn't make a move on a non-game day. That's just, it is a little, that's maybe not smart business. So, yeah, it'll be today. It'll probably be, I don't know, 4 hours before game time, 1 to 2 o'clock or so. They'll make the announcement.
We hear you guys about YouTube, by the way. We're live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Sounds like the audio there for those that want to see us for some reason.
Yeah, that's not a great idea.
I would.
Yeah.
You do you, boo.
Maybe they have like a sheet of paper or something that they put over the screen.
Well,
they just listen to us today.
Apparently today it's a bad choice because the audio is all choppy. We'll assess that situation in our first break.
Try to figure that out.
Okay. Real quick, if you got some extra time today, go to brewers.com/vote. We clearly have some players that are all-star worthy that are not getting the all-star worthy votes. That's up to us. Brewers.com/vote. Big four, Aaron Morse. We got to have his all-stars.
This is tough for me because I hate all-star voting.
Okay, glad I brought it up.
We can maybe do it in Mind Dump. I'd love to dump my mind on all-star voting. So,
Deal.
Okay.
Deal.
I'll pick my four. The four that you have to have in the all-star game. For sure, Miz. For sure, Terang. And then the other two I would go with, I'll go with Churio. And it's between then Harrison or Contreras for me.
Jake Bowers ring a bell?
Yeah.
All right, we'll fight about this later.
I just don't think there's a chance he makes it, so I guess I've kind of eliminated him from my mind.
Currently, according to the Brewers Twitter page, he's in fourth in terms of the vote, which apparently
he's not passing Freddie Freeman. He's not passing Matt Olson. Those two fan bases are too big, and they care about voting too much.
Now, with that attitude,
yeah.
You got a thing here.
Let's band the state of Wisconsin together against one little suburb in Los Angeles and see if we can beat them.
It's starting to come out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I follow.
So I don't. He should be. I think he absolutely should be in the conversation. Listen, No, I'm going to save it for mind dump. Save it for mind dump.
All right, we'll mind dump it later. Yeah. Anything out of Madison?
Badgers.
I don't really think so. I think we have a representative on the line.
Go ahead. What? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what's going on. That's all we need to know, I guess.
Okay.
When you're ready to tell us more, go ahead.
Maybe we have a bad connection.
Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Joe Thomas scheduled to join. Rarely do we put the screws to guests. I have questions. And we're not going to put the screws to Joe Thomas. But we do think that guys like him, unless they know things we don't. So, like, it's going to be one of those, hey, Joe, look at the camera, bark twice if you know something, and you can't tell it. Okay? Mm-hmm. If not, what is going on? And listen, this is getting you think, for those listening to us and watching us, we do this every day. We play catch up at 6 a.m. every day. Do you not think we're sick of going, we know nothing out of Matt? A few moments later, we know nothing out of Matt. Like, yeah,
we'd love to have some news about something.
We're just as frustrated as you are.
It's anything. I mean, we could.
It feels stagnant.
Hey, we're still interviewing. We're in our final stages of interview. We're doing our second round of interviews or something.
The Badgers have been stagnant for a hot minute, specifically in regard to football, right? So here we are, early summer, heading into what should be, please God, a football changing year. That's the plan anyway. And to have no information just makes it feel, as a Badgers fan, going, well, I guess this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I don't even need to know who the names are. You don't even have to tell me who the 5 candidates are. Just tell me that you've interviewed them and that you're doing another round of interviews or
maybe
whatever.
Thumbs up emoji.
Things going well. Yep.
Jump around Wisconsin. Anything.
We're in the process. Things are going well. We're excited about where we're at.
Joe Thomas tomorrow morning. We'll ask him if he knows anything.
Been a little over. It's been a little over a month since they told us who was part of the. Hey, this guy would be good, or hey, this gal would be good.
Stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the Bucs situation isn't stagnant.
Bucks.
We played the audio for there at the top of the hour for Heat Central. Bucks, Clippers, Celtics. What do you?
Giannis wants to go, will accept the deal to Boston. It's interesting. It's Jimmy Haslam, who owns part of the Bucks and owns the Cleveland Browns, just made his blockbuster trade with Myles Garrett. And what he got back in return was Jared Verse, a very good player. What I was told today was Haslam wants his player. They want someone where they can say, hey, we got this guy. The guy is not Tyler Hero. I'm not sure anymore the guy is Khalil Ware. But man, Jaylen Brown or someone you acquire for Jaylen Brown, trade would be the guy. So I think the Bucks, to a degree, are serving dual masters. There's John Horst working to keep his job as the GM of the Bucks, but you know these owners, especially the NFL, they get very involved. And I think that's part of the equation now. The Bucks want to have their trophy. They want to say, yes, we lost a top 5 player, but hey.
What? But hey.
Trophy. Yeah.
Okay, so as Packers fans, we don't deal with the whole owner ego thing like ever. And many other teams, all of them, sometimes run into this. Specifically guys like Jerry Jones, or in this case, Jimmy Haslam. We haven't felt that as Bucks fans from the previous ownership group.
We haven't really felt that from any team. Right. I mean, even Mark Antanasio, he doesn't have that in like that.
I agree.
Ego.
I think there are others that wouldn't, based on how he spends his money.
That's not an ego thing, but yeah.
I agree. But this is one of the firsts that we've gone, like Jimmy Haslam wants to do it Jimmy Haslam's way. And we haven't really seen that from our Wisconsin sports teams. So it doesn't surprise us that we're dealing with it now. But there's a lot more going on behind the scenes with the Bucks than I think we know. And that makes sense to me because, and Josh and I had talked about this, when Shams Charania goes mute. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And he even came out and said it during the NBA Finals that there's no news to share because there's news to share. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the Bucks don't operate very loudly. Every move that they've made has been very quiet, and
they were pretty loud there for a while.
Nobody's had a scoop though. When something has actually happened, when something actually happened, Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, whatever the moves are in the past, however many years, there has never been a scoop, a leak about it. There's only been scoops or leaks when it's not news or it's fake news. The only person really that's ever had a leak is Chris Haynes, and that's when Damian Lillard was here because Lillard was feeding him information. So if you're seeing something, generally I say, it's probably not true because that's just not how the Bucks operate.
June 23rd, next week, Tuesday. We've got a week between now and when Jimmy Haslam told us we would know whether Giannis is going to sign a Supermax and stay in Milwaukee or be traded. There is literally no rumor about him staying in Milwaukee. Now, Could that mean that he's gonna? Maybe.
Or it could just mean that he's gone no matter what.
They're shopping hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Well, I think they're also shopping hard that doesn't involve Giannis as well. I think they are doing both sides. Like, hey, is there anyone out there we can get to add to Giannis to convince him, let's do it again? But I think they're more shopping Giannis, but I don't think that they're not shopping for him as well.
I don't.
Okay.
What leads you to believe that?
Oh, I just think it would be bad practice to not see what's out there.
Do you, or do you think it's time to move on? And that's really where this lands. It's a 50-50 shot. I don't hear anybody say we maybe should keep Giannis. We should. I haven't heard anybody say, well, let's see what we can get. Let's see what we can pick up. You know what I mean? It's either he's staying or he's going, but there's been no chatter about, to your point, Aaron, what they think they might be able to get and with what money per se, what tradable commodity do we have to surround Giannis with anything?
I would say you have Miles Turner that you could trade. You have Bobby Portis that you can trade in terms of salary. And then you have 3 or 4 picks that you can dangle out elsewhere if you really wanted to dive deep into the 2030s of picks. So I think you have some stuff that you could go see if it's enticing enough for somebody who's a number 2 with Giannis.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line from the 920. Don't worry about it, guys. Haslam will screw this up. He's not a good owner. Well, he certainly hasn't shown us a hill of beans in regards to what his abilities are as the owner of the Bucks, other than cue the cricket sound. I mean, that's Wisconsin sports fan has a frustrating moment. Hey, Brewers are doing great.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Anything other than Wisconsin stuff? Anything else?
Anything else?
I think those fans of Spain soccer are pissed this morning. What happened yesterday between Spain and Cape Verde?
Yeah, so I was on my way out of here yesterday, and I was listening to the game, and I was like, oh, wow, still 0-0, got to halftime, and got home and turned it on, and I watched the final, I don't know, half hour of the game or so, and was just like, wow, I fully expected Spain at some point to score and kind of ruin the moment, if you will. I think the moment still would have been there because of how improbable it was that Cape Verde was even in the game. But, man, congrats to those guys. That is awesome. For those that don't know, Spain is very good and one of the favorites in the World Cup to win the World Cup. Cape Verde is not a favorite. This is the first time they've ever been in the World Cup. The only reason that they're in the World Cup is because the field has expanded this time around because of Canada, U.S., and Mexico all being hosts. So they're in it. Can anyone tell me where Cape Verde is?
Not before yesterday. It's apparently a speck on the map off the cone or whatever of Africa.
350 miles west of Senegal. right in the middle of the ocean, just hanging out there. 10 little islands, somehow fitting 500,000 people, by the way, which is crazy, in 1,500 square miles or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they apparently play soccer on.
I don't know how this comes about. I mean, we did pack the box, and at some point they said, "Hey, we might not win, but we're not going to lose." And
Pack the box. Is that a soccer term?
the correct, I guess, term is load the bus or pack the bus. You just drop everyone back towards the box, and you just play defense and hope that your defense can outlast their offensive attack. Is what Spain 20 the number 27 shots.
Yeah, 27 shots, 0-0. It's the goalie for Cape Verde.
Mhm.
One popular fella you found on Instagram.
Yeah, he had 50,000 Instagram followers before the game.
Good start.
Afterwards, it's now over 2 million. That was 2.1 last night, like around dinner time. I'm sure it's gone up since then.
Wow. Well, listen, social viral
Yeah.
clips. Good for him.
That's
I
like
hope he
40
cashes in on
times
that.
the follower count.
Kind of
Crazy.
March Madness moment.
Oh,
Somewhere
yeah.
Jack Golke is like, hey, dude, call me. I know how to do this.
Plus, Cape Verde is probably not going to time their next match or even maybe their third match. But this was great. They're fine if they don't do really anything the rest of the tournament.
They're heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
They're literally heroes.
Yep.
The heroes in the NBA in terms of the finals. The conversation is next in the I Have Questions portion of the show. Jalen Brunson had 45 points to clinch the finals the other night for the Knicks. Where does Giannis's 50 to close out Game 6 or others in NBA history land on your list? There's one dude that happened to be real popular in my childhood who had a really good game in 1998. We'll discuss when we get back. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in for Josh on Tuesday. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious. Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions, presented by Capital Credit Union, doing the right thing on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports. In sports and in life, the right partner matters. At Capital Credit Union, they are there for you every step of the way. Capital Credit Union, doing the right thing. If you've got questions, they have answers. Text MONEY to 79489 and see how Capital can do the right thing for you with Capital Credit Union. Trevor Thomas, Aaron Morse in for Josh Albrecht this morning on the Tuesday edition of I Have Questions. All of your questions, literally all of them, we have answers. Anything. You could ask us anything. We will answer it. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. We also have a question for you. And today, Aaron, it involves the New York Knicks and comparing them and Jalen Brunson to our Giannis in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. This has got you a little twisted.
Yeah, I've got a question. Why is Jalen Brunson's finals performance in the closeout game better than Giannis's when less points, less rebounds, less assists, more shooting? Okay, I've seen some rankings. Jalen Brunson now has the second best closeout game of all time, according to some people.
Not according to my research.
Yeah, no, not according to mine either.
Does this happen because this is the first championship for the Knicks since 19? Like, is the bright light just on them to go, hey, hold on?
I mentioned it yesterday. We're going to hear a lot about the New York Knicks and how special they are over the next year plus.
Yeah, he did call that. Now, what is it about this comparison? Obviously, comparing it to Giannis's 50 points and 14 rebounds and 8 blocks in Game 6 of the Bucks-Suns NBA Finals game-clinching series, if you will, at the end of the series, 2021. He is about as clear of a frontrunner in what we would call modern-era basketball as there could be. Why, in your opinion, is this being compared to Brunson's 45 points outside of, hey, bud, great game. Yep, Game 5, Knicks, good series. Welcome back, 53 years. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Not for me.
Didn't think so.
Yeah.
Comparing that, though, to others that we grew up with. I'm a little bit older than you, but my mind immediately went to 1998 NBA Finals, Game 6, Bulls, Jazz, Michael Jordan, 45 points. It was that very recognizable call. When he made the steal, he had the move at the top of the key, and this is what happened.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead.
I mean, does it get better? Respectfully, does it get better?
It might. Is Giannis's closeout better? It's close. Brian Windhorst did a list. I think he had MJ's 98. Was it 98 as the best closeout?
I think so. That's exactly what that was Michael Jordan in 1998.
One, yeah, so he had this one as number 1 and then Giannis as number 2. And I don't remember the rest off the top of my head. I can find the list, but I would have a tough time not putting LeBron in 2016, the 3-1 comeback. That Game 7, that's a hard one for me to not have up there. He'd probably be in the top 3. It's probably those 3 for me.
27 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. LeBron had a triple-double in Game 7, Cavs at Warriors. Audio, by the way, courtesy of NBC. As I watched back on that, the lack of crap on the screen in comparison to our screens today, like, just took me back for a second. Oh, look how simple it was watching sports back then.
Here's a question on the talking text line. 920 says, would Miz throwing a no-hitter to win a title beat Giannis's 50?
Uh-huh.
Think so?
Yeah. Would Miz throwing a no-hitter to win the World Series?
Yeah, is that a better closeout?
Oh, yeah. The fact that that's okay.
Really?
I have questions. I'll reel it in for a second.
I don't know if it's that simple for me.
Okay, what? I was just about to say, Aaron, I'll reel it in. Let me think about. No, absolutely nothing compares to that. What in the world is in your coffee this morning?
Nothing. I don't drink coffee. That's gross.
That's clear. The Miz throwing a no-hitter to win the World Series would absolutely beat Giannis's 50 in Game 6.
There's been...
Listen, Giannis could have scored 100 in Game 6.
Really? Okay, there's been 7 50-point games in finals history.
I don't think you understand how bad I want a Brewers World Series.
There would be a 4th no-hitter in postseason history.
The Miz could strike out 2 and give up 10 runs. As long as the Brewers score 11, it's a better deal for me.
Okay.
And that's not just because I'm very classically not much of an NBA guy. Dude, anything. You could compare.
The Bucks were 50 years between titles, and they had won one before. The Brewers haven't won one before, and so maybe that equals it out, I guess. So, listen, it probably would pass it, but I don't know if it's like emphatically a yes.
What else would make that more of an emphatic yes?
Well, I think the only reason why for you would be an emphatic yes is because, one, you care more about baseball and basketball professionally, and 2, the Brewers have never won a title.
There's that.
But it also helps now that the Bucks have won a title.
Well,
so now it's just
one.
the Brewers. Yeah, but now it's just the Brewers left, I guess. We all don't count the old Bucks. I mean, we do count the old Bucks one, but none of us, most of us right now that are either talking on screen or listening or watching, never got to see that.
Aaron, how old are you?
I'm almost 29.
Oh, when's your birthday?
August 5th.
Okay.
So I got a little less than 2 months till I'm pushing 30.
29. I was told there would be no math, but that means there has been a Super Bowl victory for the Green Bay Packers in your lifetime, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been an NBA championship in your lifetime, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you right now. Well, okay. Oh,
I know.
Tell me how bad it is for you. Nothing in that scenario in my lifetime will compare to a Brewers World Series. We've had the conversation. Would you be willing to give up a pinky for a World Series championship? Mm-hmm. So you're not much of a baseball guy?
No, I am. Brewers are probably my favorite team to watch.
Probably?
Yeah. They probably pass the Packers.
Okay.
In terms of my favorite sport to, watch.
What are you willing to give up for a Brewers World Series?
I don't know.
This is blowing my mind.
Probably something. I just I don't dive into those hypotheticals. They should just be able to do it on their own.
Yeah. Which is exactly why Miz throwing a no-hitter to win the World Series absolutely trumps Giannis having fit.
But Giannis won 50 to win a title. He scored 50 to win the title.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
And us.
Those are on the same. They're at least in the same conversation. I like how you don't do
hypotheticals until we're in a hypothetical here that you don't agree with. And now
they're in the same conversation. I'm just saying it's not that emphatic of a yes, no. They're at least in the same conversation. What Giannis did is up there with the greatest finals performances ever.
Do you think the Miz throwing a no-hitter to win Game 7 of the World Series would possibly be the best World Series game ever?
Maybe. Probably Don Larson would be up there. Was it a perfect game or it was a perfect game he threw in the World Series.
To win the World Series?
It was Game 5. I don't know if that was a clincher or not, but he threw a perfect game in the World Series.
Which is a big deal. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Listen, you could ask me 1,000 scenarios. all hypothetical of if this or a Brewers World Series. And I think other than my family's safety and my loved one's safety, like, let's just take out reality of life.
How about this? Should we remind you of what Giannis did?
Go ahead.
He has been magnificent at the line. .50 Only the 7th player in the history of the finals to have a 50-point game.
Okay, I'm happy. That was awesome. I think it also is the climactic piece. If the Miz threw a complete game no-hitter to win Game 7 of the World Series and the roof is closed, bad day. I mean, the thing is gonna pop. That would be insane.
It would be. Listen, I'm not saying it wouldn't be awesome and like probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just don't think that it's night and day. I mean, you are like, you're not even, you won't even go to a Giannis 50-point conversation where you're at. Like, you won't even have that. You're like,
in comparison to the Brewers winning the World Series?
Yeah, see, yeah.
Non-starter.
I think it's just because you hate the NBA.
Okay,
hey, listen, I'm not an NBA fan right now either. This is probably the fewest games I've watched. You know what?
In the NBA when you came up with the idea for this segment, I was like, cool, let's do this. Knicks, Bucks, well, yes. It'll allow me to talk about how we got here to comparing an NBA Finals performance to the Miz throwing a no-hitter in the World Series. I don't know. However, this is what I get for taking the NBA bait.
Yeah. All right, 262 says we don't have to worry about it because Brewers will never win a title. Well, that's not very nice, 262.
I will fight you.
That's not very optimistic. Not very optimistic. 414 agrees with you. Not even close. Miz throwing a no-hitter all day long, way more impressive.
I'm going to try
maybe it
during
is.
the break.
It's about 3 games. About 3 games more impressive. 7 50-point games, it would be the 4th postseason no-hitter or perfect game. So about 3 games more impressive, which is a negligible amount at some point, or at least belongs in the same conversation.
Man, I didn't see this coming.
Listen, what Giannis did was
you tricked me.
I did no such thing. Did no such thing.
There's only one answer to that question. Good. All right. Well, here we go again. I let him do this next segment too. There are 3 sounds from June 16th in Brewers history that are a big deal. Which one did Aaron Morse pick for the most electrifying sound of the day? So help me God if you squeaked something in the NBA and not Brewers here. I mean, nothing's going to happen. You're in control.
Maybe.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. That's Aaron Morse. We're back in a bit.
It's time for
The most electrifying
sound of the day.
The most electrifying
On Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Trevor McGill swinging a pop-up. Shallow center, base hit. The throw coming home. It is going to be in time. They got him on a perfect throw from Perkins and Sutter. And the out on the throw, 8-2 ends the game.
And that was the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. A little bit of euchre there for you on most electrifying sound of the day. Is that good enough for you?
Audio. Yeah, that's good. Audio courtesy of the Milwaukee Brewers Radio Network. Good to hear it. June 16th, 2024. Brewers were up 5-4 on Cincinnati, AmFam Field. 9th inning, Stuart Fairchild tried to score from second on a ball to center, and Blake Perkins says, how about no?
Yeah, that was the one where William Contreras kind of got hit in the noggin a little bit and was down for a little bit after the game. I like it because, one, it was a euchre call, and two, it was against the Reds. And I've become a big hater of the Cincinnati Reds over the last few years. So
tell me more.
Oh, I just hate the narrative around them. Every single year, they're the little darling who's going to sneak up and win the division, and then every year they fall flat at 500. Oh, they made the playoffs last year. Wow, they're 2 games over 500. Congrats, they snuck into a bad picture. But every year for like the past 5 years, it's been, hey, the Reds are going to win the division.
Not so much this year.
I'm sick of it. Yeah.
10 games back in the NL Central, dead last place. The Brewers play the Reds next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again the following Sunday, Monday, Tuesday in Cincy the first time, then here again, Cincy, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. We'll see if you eat crow during that series or not.
I won't.
The series that is the most important one that's right in front of us starts today. Cleveland coming to town. Games tonight, tomorrow night, day game on Thursday before they get out of Dodge and head to Atlanta for an even bigger series. 9 games straight for the Crew starting today, 3 at home, 6 on the road before they come back the following weekend for the 2-game stint. No, 3 against the Chicago Cubs there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Cincinnati on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think that's the series where the Brewers are going to wear their Wisco uniforms against the Cubs all weekend long. Have you been to a game with the Wisco yet?
No.
Do you like the Wisco?
No.
Well, so then you don't own any Wisco gear.
No.
Why? Why are we so no?
Nobody calls it
having
Wisco.
a conversation with my teenage. No.
Nobody calls it Wisco.
Yes, they do.
They look like softball uniforms.
I kind of like that.
Not very City Connect or State Connect.
It's very State Connect.
Nobody calls it Wisco. That's not connecting to the state.
What does that mean? 12? Nobody calls it Wisco. Do people call it Scotty?
No.
Yeah, they do.
Not around me.
Scotty, Wisco.
No.
Wisconsin.
Do 12 people call it Wisco?
That was enough to make a uniform out of it, I guess.
So.
That was their way to tap into the state. I guess it worked a little bit. What is the best way to tap into the future of the Milwaukee Brewers? We are well aware that the farm system for the Brewers is a big deal. It has been for a long time. The number 1 farm system in all of baseball, right? Cooper Pratt, seemingly today, will be announced as the newest member of the Milwaukee Brewers coming up from Nashville in the AAA Sounds. Who else needs to move on from the Brewers farm system? Either let's get them up here, or frankly, is this a time, specifically, I think, Aaron, heading into the new CBA and the unknowns for next year, is this the time to go all in? You have some thoughts here about how long Should we be the number one farm system in Major League Baseball and be proud of it with no World Series ring to show for it? Somebody on the Nicolay Law Talking text line, 414-677-1250, said, you're nuts about the whole no-hitter in Game 7 of the World Series thing.
They don't know what they're talking about, so that's okay.
I also got a text message that said your co-host today is a psychopath.
That's okay.
414
I have my haters.
414-677-1250. Not as many as I do. The Nicolay Law Talking text line. Is it time to sell the farm? We'll talk about it next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in for Josh today. Good morning, Wisconsin.
Cooper Pratt, it certainly looks like, is finding out right now, live in the middle of this game, that he is going to the big leagues. Koenig walks DeLuca to start the 6th inning, and Cooper Pratt is giving out hug after hug in the Sounds dugout. And it looks like we are all finding out together that Cooper Pratt, it certainly looks like, is headed to the Brewers.
Jeff Hem and the Nashville Sounds radio team letting us know that Cooper Pratt appears, for all intents and purposes, to be headed to Milwaukee. That announcement should come at some point today as the Brewers gear up for the series that starts today against the Cleveland Guardians at AmFam Field. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Hour 2 Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht. Aaron Morse in for Josh this morning. On a day when it appears that indeed we still have the number one farm system in all of baseball. And Mr. Cooper Pratt isn't the person that's in the system that was the only one to get a promotion here in the last week or so. What does that mean as it stands right now in regard to where the Brewers are headed, and what should it mean if they finally want to close the gap and win a World Series? Aaron Morse has some things to share in today's Malott Meets Morning Mindup.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Dad wants ribeyes for Father's Day. I asked him. That was his answer. He said, go to WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Good news, ribeyes are 10% off for Father's Day. Experience the power of the family meal with a ribeye steak in the middle of your plate from our friends at Malott Meats. The question before the top of the hour break, Aaron, should the Brewers sell the farm? And what we mean by that is, how long is too long to have the best farm system in Major League Baseball with no World Series ring to show for it?
Well,
whoa, that was a big breath. Here we go.
It's been too long since they have dipped into the well to go for a World Series title. They did it with Sabathia a little bit, with Greinke a little bit. They did it when they added Mike Moustakas. And so and Christian Yelich, by the way. So they've dipped here and there throughout the period of the last 20 or so years. It's time. It was probably time 2 years ago, and they decided to, do whatever the heck they're doing, selling guys. And so it's time. I think just for me, at some point, you just have too many prospects, if that's a thing, because we know not all of them are going to pan out. That's how baseball works. Only some of them will pan out. But even if some of, or the same percentage of Brewers prospects pan out, there's only 9 spots on a field and only 26 spots on an entire roster. And at some point, you're just going to run out of roster space. What happens if Cooper Pratt continues to ascend like they think? And Jet Williams then, and eventually Jesus Made and Luis Pena, and then Andrew Fisher, and maybe even Josh Adams-Shefsky, who got called up to Double-A, or Blake Burke, or Brock Wilken, or whoever you want to talk. This is just position players here. There's only so much room when you already have Churio on the roster, and Yelich is signed through 32, and Terang will be around until 31, and whoever else you want to throw into this category, they already have roster spots filled up for some. You don't have any more spots to keep these prospects. So you have to condense them at some point. It's simple math.
The Nicolay Law talking text line, 414-677-1250. Aaron says sell the farm. The text messages that we've gotten on 12 different lines here, in one word, say no. No.
Oh, this is...
Okay, but hear me out on this for a second real quick. I have a follow-up question to should we sell the farm? Is the reason we need to keep the farm intact because of the salary disparity in baseball? We look at the NFL, and there are teams that go all in all the time. They're willing to risk whatever it is in terms of their future to win a Super Bowl. We saw Tampa do it with Tom Brady. We've seen other teams do it with trades. Some even said the Packers did it last year because the window is now. So let's go and get Micah Parsons and give up 2 first-round picks. Why is that not the same for baseball? Why is it not the same for the Milwaukee Brewers to be able to make a decision to go all in and sacrifice the future to put themselves in the best possible spot to win a World Series now? And the answer to that on the Nicolay Law talk and text line has everything to do with competitive baseball moving forward instead of one World Series and then we suck for another 20 years. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line in the Mlot Meets Morning Mind Dump. Here's one from the 262. No, don't sell the farm. If we do, everyone will just complain we suck for the next 10 to 15 years. And then they'll start saying, well, we need to sell the team. Boys, we're only in June. We're 20-some games above 500. Ride it out as long as possible and see what happens.
Do you know why we won't be complaining about how they suck for the next 10 to 15 years?
Because we have a World Series finally?
Exactly. And that cures everything. And do you really think it would take 10 to 15 years for this team to rebuild some of the talent they have on this roster? And if you do sell a good chunk, okay, if you're selling the farm, listen, I'm not talking Jesus Made, Luis Pena, Cooper Pratt, Jet Williams, Andrew Fisher, all have to go at this deadline. But some people have to go at this deadline. Some of them do. And guess what? If you trade some of them, guess who you still have? The other some of them. So you're not empty. I'm not asking to empty the cabinet. Just condense the cabinet into getting a really good player who can go win a World Series. I am shocked at the text line right now. I am shocked. Can I be a little mean for like 3 seconds?
Not unless you don't want it back. But I mean, yeah, your own peril.
Loser talk.
Hello.
Loser talk. To say, I just want to be competitive. I just want to win 88 games every year and find a nice little division series. And after that, it's just all special no matter what.
Why do you sound like a 92-year-old grandmother?
Because that's what these people sound like in my head. The line, let's see, where is it now? 262, no sell. I'd rather have 20 years of competitive baseball and playoffs than 1 year of World Series and such for 20. So he'd rather have 20 years of good baseball, playoff baseball, over a World Series, which is insane. Isn't the whole point to win a title? That is all I care about. All I care about, winning championships. I don't care if they go win 63 games next year if they win a World Series this year. Would it suck? Sure, probably a little bit, but guess what? I'll be laying in bed thinking about the Brewers winning a World Series. And that's good enough for me. Because that's how winners react.
414. You've lit the pilot light of anger on the Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. Sell the farm? Or at least condense the cabinet? Or, boys, what are we even talking about right now? We're 20 games above 500. Here's the 414 that says, we always praise the front office for their prospect scouting. Why wouldn't we believe they could retool the farm system if we do sell? Here's somebody that says, Aaron's right. Go all in.
I'm not asking for them to trade Jesus Made. I would rather keep him. but there's plenty of – they're the number one prospect system in baseball. You think if they trade 3 guys, they all of a sudden fall to 28th? They'll fall to like 8th in baseball because they still have the number one prospect and they still have 3 other top 100 guys. They have plenty to dig from. In the text line, I'm wondering, are you redheaded?
Well, you have a red beard.
Yes,
so
but I'm not redheaded. That's my siblings. I've got 2 redheaded siblings, but I am
think
not
they were
redheaded. My beard's a little red, but someone's
not a
talking
little
about a
red. It's
redhead.
a lot of red.
Someone called a redhead a spoiled brat. I
Live
don't
on
know who that
YouTube.
is.
Live on YouTube, live on Twitter, live
It's
on
not me,
Facebook if you want to join me and the redhead. No, sign the Miz. Well, I don't know what that has to do with selling the farm. Here we go. 920 says, I'm calling baloney. Thank you for that word. We won. If we won this year and then sucked for the next, let's say, 10 or even 5 years, everyone would complain. Look at the Bucks and the complaints there, even though they won in recent history. That's actually a really interesting comparison.
I'm not complaining about the Bucks.
But there are many that are, and many that are like, Giannis needs to go. It's time to start over. And then somebody else would go, why would we do that? Do you not remember the XYZ number of years? Well, hold on. Do you not remember the NBA championship that they hung a banner in the rafters for? And as sports fans, maybe that's the difference between the diehards and those that just pay attention every once in a while. I had a conversation last night with a buddy, and I said, listen, if you don't know this by listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports, my X's and O's are not fine-tuned, but that's the type of sports fan that I am. When it comes to Brewers baseball, I love everything about it. I love the strategery. I love the bullpen. I love the hitting situations, the matchups, all of it. When to sacrifice, when not to, when to throw a slider, when not to, when to make Christian Yelich look like a complete moron when he strikes out, and when not to. Like, I know all of those things because I really love the sport. That's why this one bugs me the most, because all I want for our Wisconsin sports teams and my personal fandom is a World Series. I would give up, from a personal sports fandom in Wisconsin standpoint, literally anything else. Even my pinky, garbage man Mike.
Yeah. I think people on the talking text line are misconstruing what I'm saying here, because someone just typed in, the joy of watching this team, especially the last 2 years, day in and day out, outweighs selling the farm for one World Series. We can make a move, give up a couple prospects, and still be good for a long time. Being terrible all summer long isn't fun. Y'all remember when we sucked? I do. That's what I'm saying. That the person's agreeing with me. Selling the farm doesn't mean dropping all of your prospects off on other teams. It just means selling some of your prospects. They will still be good in 5 years if they trade 4 good prospects this year. Now, I'm not talking Made or Pena specifically, but if they trade 4 other good prospects, they are still going to be good in 5 years. And if you don't think they'll be good in 5 years doing that, well, then you just don't have faith in the Brewers front office, which is ridiculous at this point because it's been almost 10 years now of really good moves and really good management.
It's a Take Back Tuesday. We'll see if Aaron wants to take back his hot take.
Not a chance.
In the very next segment. Before we get to Jeff Levering, scheduled to join us at the bottom of the hour. Don't miss that. He's been around for a hot minute. I wonder what he says about selling the farm and going all in. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. What do you got to take back from the last week? We'll share ours and we'll share yours. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I have a take back for Josh. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. He's Aaron Morse. Stay here. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network just got bigger. Welcome to the city of Madison, where you can now listen to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network on 94.9 HD2. Your favorite local shows each weekday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and the best in Brewers coverage with the leadoff show and the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show. In Madtown, keep it tuned to 94.9 HD2 and the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, Aaron Morse in for Josh this morning on a Take Back Tuesday. Aaron believes the entire Nicolay Law Talking text line.
Most of them.
Okay, most of the Nicolay Law Talking text line should just take all their things back.
I do have a couple of things that I do have to not take back, but I guess change. I did misspeak in the last segment. I said it was Yelich and Terang who are through 2032. It's Churio and Lara who are 2032. But Yelich and Terang are 29 and 30, I think, or 29. Yeah. So I mixed up the years. And then I said pack the bus earlier. JB in the 920 made sure to correct me. It's park the bus. And yes, I watch soccer, JB, so I know. I just misspoke.
Very
the other
kind,
one,
a couple self-reflected
Yep.
take backs.
The other one I have to do is probably a few weeks ago when I wasn't quite on this station yet, I made it known that I thought that the Western Conference Finals was the NBA Finals and that the Spurs would beat the Knicks handily and they would beat them in 5, and that is the most the Knicks would do. So I need to take that back because the Knicks, they proved me wrong.
You weren't the only one with that take back. That was the very common opinion about the NBA final. I have two, one for me and one for Josh.
Okay.
The one for me, I told a story yesterday about my youngest son grabbing an acoustic guitar and going outside. Cheat code is what you called it for those that missed it. We have family dinner on Sunday nights, and I have 2 teenage boys, my wife and I do, and we have nieces and nephews that are in that same age bracket, friends in the neighborhood. Well, the boys went outside the other night, and all of a sudden, we're at this age now where some other teenage girls in the neighborhood just happened to notice that there was boys out, and they just came on down to hang out. And my youngest son went and grabbed his acoustic guitar and said, watch this. Even though he would adamantly and vehemently deny it, it happened. Well, I take back airing his laundry. He was pissed at me last night. Holy moly. Dad, you don't have to tell it. All right, man. Well, bad news. People like those stories, bro.
Yeah,
Bruh.
there was someone on the text line yesterday who said Trevor loved the real life stories. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I feel like I do best anyway, is bringing some of the stupidity from my personal life onto the radio. And buddy, there's a lot to choose from.
I think your kid should know that put him in a good light. It didn't put him in a negative light.
So I happened to see some of the text messages yesterday about how Guitar Guy, it was always kind of the weird guy.
I think that's an old stereotype.
I don't remember that being the case.
I think that's a movie type thing.
If you watch a reel or two and these dudes with acoustic guitars roll up on a random attractive young lady in college, I've never seen them get hit over the head with said guitar.
Exactly.
I also have a take back for my friend Josh. It is no surprise to anybody listening to Inside Wisconsin Sports right now that I have been tagged as someone who has the ability to jinx someone or something. And it has, in Josh's defense, it has happened more times than I'm personally willing to admit.
Do you believe in jinxes?
I didn't, but I'm kind of starting to.
See, that's why you jinxed him, because you believe in it.
Well, Josh needs to believe in his own power now. Did you see that Andrew Fisher got promoted from single A, the high A Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, to Biloxi? Now, most would agree that this is a good thing. We want guys like Andrew Fisher to be able to be promoted and work their way up in the system. But when you're the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, it's kind of hard to focus on who's with you now. And so we typically just talk about the way the things are now. but leave it to Josh to jinx the T-Rats.
All right, this guy is lighting it up. They've been talking about him at the major league level. His name is being talked about. He could leave us at any point on any day. How from an organizational standpoint, how do you handle that?
Just to highly encourage everybody to come out to tonight's game. Come out this week because we honestly don't know. I will get a text, or actually, no, I'll get an email saying.
Okay,
He
knew, right?
He did not know.
You're telling me the Timber Rattlers dude didn't know?
No, he didn't. That was the president and CEO of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers.
I don't know. His answer makes me think he knew that it was coming. Because he said, "Listen, all I would do is encourage people to come out tonight and this weekend." Like
that's their message. Though.
I know,
that's what they say is, guys, when we have a really good player, get here now because he could be gone tomorrow. He did not know.
I feel like he knew.
Are you trying to give Josh an out on the jinx?
No. Listen, I'm not saying Josh did not jinx it. I'm just saying that is it Rick? Is that
Rob?
Rob. I think Rob just knew he didn't let on, but Josh just maybe he still jinxed him. I don't believe in jinxes though. So
even though you just said he still jinxed him.
Yeah, that's because we're making fun of Josh right now.
That's like saying, well, we're not making fun of Josh, by the way. You want to sound like what it sounds like to make fun of somebody when they're not in? Go back a few shows. You were a part of it.
Maybe.
Redheaded, bearded brat. Coming up next.
My siblings. They're the redheaded brats.
How do you have such a screaming red beard and not red hair?
I don't know. Genes. Ask my parents. I don't know.
Which one of your parents is the redhead?
Neither.
I have questions.
I know.
Don't ask. Don't ask. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. When we come back on a Take Back Tuesday, Jeff Levering is scheduled to join us from the Milwaukee Brewers broadcast team. Lots of TV, sometimes the radio. Always one of our favorites. We'll talk to Jeff Levering when we get back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in for Josh today, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's hair jealousy, buddy. That's all it is. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in for Josh this morning on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. The guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Joining us on the phone now, voice of the Milwaukee Brewers and friend of the program, Mr. Jeff Levering. Lev, how are you, buddy? Happy Tuesday.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Good morning. Nice day to start a series with the Cleveland Guardians today.
Yeah, with a roof, for sure. That would be like where we want to be best, is under a roof. So thanks for jumping on.
For the next couple of days.
Yeah, it seems that way anyway, which is really bad for me, by the way, if I just may complain for a hot second, because that's why you came on, is to listen to me complain. We have tickets to go see Garth Brooks tomorrow night in the uncovered portion of the amphitheater, which I found out yesterday, so that's great.
Yeah, bring a poncho. Do they make ponchos in your size, Trev?
Not really. I have a very wet jeans if I wear a poncho.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's some high waters going on there, buddy.
Brutal. Hey, man, the Brewers doing well. And the conversation, obviously, around Cooper Pratt, hypothetically coming to the Milwaukee Brewers maybe today. But there's a lot of people that are asking, hold on, that's great. And what do you think we should do with the farm system right now in terms of going all in for a World Series? You've been with us for quite some time now. Do you feel like in baseball, for an organization like the Brewers, it's important to show fans that you're willing to go all in when you think you have the team to get it done? Or is just what we've been doing for a number of years now in terms of getting to the playoffs and being wildly competitive good enough?
It's a slippery slope, right? I think that there is so much depth within the organization. If you wanted to go out and do something wild and crazy, you could. The Brewers did that in 2018 and 2019 as they went for it and making those trades and going into the 2018 season, of course, to get Christian Yelich too. They have the depth to do it. That's why you create a minor league system, not only to cultivate your own players and bring them up to the big leagues, but if you need to go for it and make a trade, that you have the capital to do so. I think the Brewers are in a really good position, depending on what they are targeting, to go get something. And who knows what they're going to target. Obviously, the big fish that's out there, if available, is Tarek Skubal. Do they try and do that? Maybe. I'm not sure. But when you look at bats that might be available, bats are tough to acquire. Bats are kind of tough to figure out what they're going to be. So for me, is it worth it if you give up on, say, 3 of your top 10 prospects on a maybe? I'm not sure if that's the route that this organization needs to go. So I trust in what Matt Arnold and what that group is looking to accomplish. I trust in that process, and whatever decisions they end up making, I stand behind it.
Jeff, you used the word trust, and you trust in Matt Arnold to do the job. Should fans have more trust in this front office and this team, this franchise? Because it's been 10 plus years-ish now of really good success. And should maybe the front office trust themselves and say, hey, we could maybe give up 2 or 3 guys because we're good enough to go find 2 or 3 guys in the next year or two, wherever those prospects might come from?
Totally. I think they trust themselves. I think they've done this long enough and they've had so much success that they absolutely trust themselves. And I think as fans, you could sit back and go, oh my gosh. And I'm just going to put myself in the Wayback Machine for a couple of minutes and say, oh yeah, you should go trade for Miguel Cabrera just because you need to trade for Miguel Cabrera. I'm just throwing a name out there for no reason whatsoever, but just to throw it out there. To go out and make a deal just for the sake of going out and making a deal doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? And you could be Jerry DiPoto of the Mariners, and he could wake up one day and go, you know what? I haven't made a trade in, 48 hours. I think the Mariners have an incident report on their on a whiteboard somewhere kind of thing. It's been X amount of days since our last trade because all they do is trade. I get it. It's fun to trade. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to put things into a simulation and figure out what spits out on the other side. But I do think that fans should trust in what this process is. And I think fans have really grown to appreciate what the Brewers do year in and year out and the product that they put out on the field. They should absolutely trust the process.
Jeff Levering joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. The process is working with Jacob Mizorowski. That was a good trust of the process. How fun was Friday night for you, Lev?
It was amazing. And I've said this a number of times now, and I said it on the TV broadcast the very next day, that it's the single greatest individual performance I've seen on a baseball field. And that includes what I witnessed in person in Game 4 of the NLCS last year with Shohei Ohtani. Now, what Ohtani did, hitting 3 homers and throwing 6 scoreless with 10 strikeouts, impressive, totally. But what Miz did on Friday with 0 3-ball counts, 4 2-ball counts, 95 pitches, nothing hit hard against him. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen domination like that. I've never seen the caliber of hitter be as overmatched as I saw on Friday night. And it was a blast. I was almost rooting for hitters to get out so that I could watch Mizorowski throw again. And I didn't want him to get out, but I was like, oh my God, I need to see more Miz. This is insane. Come on, bring him back out.
How long do you think he would have gone? Like if he just kept pitching and pitching and pitching against the Phillies that night, do you think it would have taken like 12 innings for them to score off of him? Because he's still throwing 103.
Yeah, no, I think as long as he continued to pitch the way that he was on the corners at that velocity, that he could have thrown 30 innings.
Yeah.
They were not going to touch him that night, and they might not touch him ever again. Yeah. It's crazy. I'm excited to see what he does against Atlanta in his next start, because they're pushing him through this Guardian series. He'll probably get Game 1 of the Atlanta series on Friday night, and that is going to be a wild scene down at Truist Park.
Which they said was a planned rest or a planned shift, but yet that feels a little strategery is in place here that the Brewers seem to be doing more of this season, Jeff, than in previous seasons. Are you seeing that too?
It can be both. It can absolutely be both. What you're going to run into, and we talked about this a lot last year too with Miz, as the season was progressing, you're going to run into an inning situation, because last year was his career high in innings. He had some injury problems in the minor leagues. So you're going to run into some innings problems. So do you push him a day to give him an extra day of rest? Sure. There's no problem with that. But it's also to protect those innings, because you want him firing on all cylinders when you need him the most in August and September and in the postseason. So when the Brewers are pushing a guy an extra day, it's absolutely both of those things. It's smart. It is protecting the player, and I think it's a really smart move as you move forward. I mean, they did it with Kyle Harrison early on in the season. It paid huge dividends. They're going to continue to do it over the course of the year when appropriate.
Jeff Levering with us. Jeff, Cooper Pratt is likely to be activated today onto the Major League roster. He'll make his MLB debut. Believe today he'll be starting. Is the plan for him to be the everyday shortstop, everyday third baseman, and everyday player now that he's going to be called up?
I don't think that the Brewers would call up a guy like Cooper Pratt just to sit him on the bench. I think if he's going to be at the big league level, he's going to play. I think he could see time, I would say mostly at shortstop. Could he see some time at third? I think so. I think that could be true as well. But I think that he's going to play a lot of short. You could see Joey Ortiz sliding over to third base, and man, that infield would be pretty darn locked tight too, especially against left-handed pitching. So we'll see what the plan is. Again, I think we will learn more as the day progresses today, as this Cleveland Guardian series begins. But I think that seeing a Cooper Pratt in there every day, now granted, he had a stretch there for about a month where he was swinging the bat pretty well. I think he was 0 for his last 10 before he got his call up to the big leagues, potentially, quote unquote, potentially today. But I think that he's going to be just fine. I'm excited to watch him play short at the big league level. We saw what he could do defensively in spring training the last couple of years. That's all fine and dandy, but I'm excited to see when the brightest lights are on him, what he can do, especially on the defensive side.
That was a pretty cool moment during the Sounds game when he found out and the dugout found out, and then the fans started to find out. You spent a lot of time in the minors. Do you remember moments like that happening when you were on the broadcast?
Totally. And you knew exactly what was happening in those moments. Because a player just doesn't come out of the game in the minor leagues in the fourth or fifth inning ever, unless there's an injury situation and you would know what was going on, and the trainer wouldn't be handing a cell phone to the manager in that circumstance. So those are cool moments. And having been in the minor leagues, I saw guys go from Double-A to the big leagues. I saw guys, of course, go from Triple-A to the big leagues for the first time. And those are special moments. Those are special moments for managers. They're special moments for the players that are around those players. So those are cool moments. And to see it unfold in the middle of the game, it doesn't happen a ton. Usually those things happen after the game or before a game. But to see it in real time unfold like that, I thought was really, really cool and really well done by their broadcaster, Jeff Hem, who in real time was describing it the way that it needed to be described, and saying, hey, we are learning right now. I think this kid's going to the big leagues. We're on hug watch, and they're happy hugs, not sad hugs.
So one more quick, we know your time is valuable. Thanks for letting us jump on with you, or you jumping on with us. We appreciate it. You have that friend that's a one-upper friend. Like you're telling a story and you're like, man, I had this and boy, it was awesome. And then there's that, well, this one time when I had that. That's how I feel about Miz and Jackson Chourio. Miz has an insane night on the mound. And then Jackson Chourio is like, 448, bud, in the last, 7 days. Co-National League Players of the Week. You imagine being either of those guys having the best days of their career and going, come on the same team even?
Yeah, I kind of like the fact that they're on the same team, though. I don't know if that's a one-upper situation. I think that's a, hey, let's a handshake and let's go dominate together kind of thing, which is fun. You almost saw the one-upper thing going with Miz and Kyle Harrison there for a little bit, which was fun because they were going, shut piece and a bunch of strikeouts and no walks. And, oh, look what you can do. I can do this. Look what you can do. I can do this. So I think that was a lot of fun to watch, too. But to see the Jackson Chourio Miz co-players of the week, Miz got jobbed in May for not winning the Pitcher of the Month award. He should have won it. All of the peripheral numbers, for him, and the fact that he did what he did against the Phillies, who also, by the way, talked the most trash about him being an all-star last year, calling it banana ball when he made the all-star game. And then he goes up there and shoves it up their rear end for 9 innings. I thought it was perfect. The whole thing was perfect. And it was all right, you don't like it? Well, look at this. Ooh, Happy learned how to putt. So that's exactly what that moment was for me, for Miz.
Hey, have you rebounded in the old cribbage game?
I have. I have won each of the last 3 series we've played. So it is now 11-6. I was down 8-0, and now it's 11-6. So I am gaining a ton of ground. Vinny and I will be working the next road trip together. So we've got 6 more games coming up. So I am making this thing a series.
You can't come back if you weren't losing to begin with. So if you want to,
what do you mean by that?
Well, if you want to come back, if you want a great story and you want to make, you got to be down to come back, right?
Oh, I was down. I was 6 feet down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, this is going to be great.
This is not good.
This is great for you.
Not good.
Do you think we can live stream one of the, I'm willing right now to commit to giving play-by-play of a cribbage match if you think we can figure out how to live stream one of these games?
Yeah, I think we could come up with something like that. I think that you may need to have a 7-second delay because there are some harsh words run out there every now and again.
It's the
they
internet.
Get pretty competitive. Yeah, we can keep it clean for you though.
Love it. Jeff Levering, Inside Wisconsin Sports. Lev, have a great series and a good road trip coming up. We appreciate you jumping on, bud.
You got it, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Jeff.
The guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. It's going to be exciting, man, to see Cooper Pratt on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, and he said shortstop too, so he seems like it will be shortstop, and they won't put him at third base to start. So I like that as well.
I'd be willing to bet they move him around a little bit. I mean, the left side is what it is right now. You can't discount Jory Ortiz's glove, and you can't discount the lack of bat that he has in his hands when he goes to the plate.
Cooper Pratt's a Gold Glover in the minor leagues too, so it's not like you're losing, or presumably like you're losing that much, I guess, if you take Ortiz off of shortstop. So, well, I guess you got to let the guy figure it out at the MLB level, at least show if he can do it, and if he can't, well, then maybe third base is an option for now.
Is there a Moustakas-like third baseman? Let's just hypothetically say Cooper Pratt goes to short. Joey Ortiz is in rarely instead of the starter and the everyday guy that we can count on. Turang stays at second, although when I saw Bryce Turang at shortstop the other day and David Hamilton playing second, Vaughn was at third, I had flashbacks to Robin Yount and went, well, look at this. Wouldn't this be cool?
Yeah, they've seen pretty averse to putting Turang at shortstop before these past couple of innings that he's played. So interesting.
What if we put Cooper Pratt at third, Turang at shortstop, Hamilton at second, or went and found a third baseman, kept Turang at second, put Cooper Pratt at short, and then maybe there's a Moose-like acquisition that could happen.
It's tough. Third base has actually been a little down this year across the entire league, so it's tough. Guys that would presumably be available haven't been that good, so maybe you'd have to stretch that, and maybe you have to find a different position, just moving to third. I don't know. There's maybe a guy that will become available, but right now it seems that everyone that's good at third base isn't going to be traded. So, but we got a month and a half to figure that all out.
We got about a month and a half until we start to see the Packers hit the training camp field. And yet this week is the last week of OTAs and apparently rookie mini camp 2.0. We'll talk to our friend Mike Spofford coming up from Packers.com here at the top of the hour. And we want to know what your questions are for Spoff. The Packers offseason is getting a break here pretty quick, which is good and bad, in my opinion, because it's good that there's rest and hopefully they stay in shape and do all the things, and bad because, well, I mean, maturity is a thing, and these dudes have a lot of money, and going away for a little bit of time just gives us a little bit of the yips.
Well, it's nice being in Green Bay, right? I mean, Xavier McKinney said it, a couple weeks ago, like, hey, there's nothing to do in Green Bay, which is what he said, I like that, which is great because, hey, that means you're not getting in trouble. That means you're not doing things that maybe you shouldn't, or things that are maybe not bad things, but maybe things like, harder to do in Green Bay. I've lived in
the greater Green Bay metro area for 20 years this year. I think there are plenty of things to spend money on.
I agree, but they have a lot more money and a more lavish lifestyle than we are used to. So I think that hurts our case a little bit.
Meaning they're looking for bigger and better things, whereas the common folk, I guess, are just like,
exactly.
Oh no, there's lots to do. Try having teenage boys. You know what, Zay? I would like you to cover a month's worth of grocery bills for 2 teenage boys.
Growing
you tell
teenage
me what you
boys,
can spend your money on. Growing teenage boys, they won't stop. It's expensive to feed mammals the size of our boys. Lift weights, they said.
Yeah.
I'll encourage them to work out.
There's plenty to do in Green Bay, just not for some NFL players sometimes. That's okay. That's good for the fans. That means that they won't be out doing nefarious activities.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Questions about the Packers for Mike Spofford from Packers.com. Send them our way. We'll chat with him next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in for Josh again today. Stay here. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Second thing that I'm going to be looking at in order to make me kind of put me on notice is that defense. I don't know if anybody knows, but Jeff Hafley is no longer the defensive coordinator over there. He's not, the mad scientist is now in Miami as a head coach. In walks Jonathan Gannon. Now, Jonathan Gannon was with the Eagles before. They did make it to the Super Bowl. So he's been to the big dance. However, this is what's different. They run two different schemes. One thing I loved about Jeff Hafley's defense, exotic fronts. I remember they would put Micah Parsons one side and the three other D linemen other ways, and they would have the quarterback try to figure that out on the fly. You're not going to see that with Jonathan Gannon, at least I don't think, because he hasn't done it in his career. So what was once exotic fronts, elaborate blitz packages, Jonathan Gannon wants to rush 4. So, Willie, I think with that run game and with that new defensive coordinator, we're going to see how this all plans out, and hopefully, things kind of kick off the right way, because the NFC North is no joke.
Understatement. The NFC North is no joke. Ain't that the truth? What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse in for Josh. Aaron, where'd you find that clip?
That was, I think it was on ESPN NFL Countdown, if I'm remembering correctly.
What I thought was interesting was they were giving a lot of credit to Jeff Hafley.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not so sure that's where the credit deserved to go for the defense that we now see as the Packers defense. We'll ask that question and so many more as editor from Packers.com joins us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Our buddy Mike Spofford. Spoff, good to see you, buddy. Hey, happy summer break, right?
No doubt. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, so OTAs, or Rookie Minicamp 2.0, wraps up this week for the Packers, and then they're off for a solid 6-ish weeks. And when I say off, I mean they can go and do whatever they want to do, yet they know what they need to do. And so as things wrap up from the mandatory minicamp last week and the weeks of OTAs, and now this, hey, everybody but the rookies, have a great summer, but we need to keep you guys close. What are the, top 3 things that you've seen over the last few weeks that would a Packers fan take into the summer going, we're good?
Well, I always take everything in the springtime, the OTAs, the mini camp, you take it all with a grain of salt, what you see on the field, because there are no pads on, right? It's not real football. We've heard coaches around the league, Dan Campbell calls it pajama parties and, all of that stuff. And that's true, because every year there are players who you think, oh, they're headed into training camp with all this promise, but then once the pads go on, they kind of, fade into the distance and they're not going to make it. That being said, I mean, you look at what happens in the spring as, okay, what is there to watch for in training camp based on what happened in the spring? And I think one of the biggest things for me is seeing how much it appears this rookie draft class is going to potentially get on the field for Green Bay in 2026. Brandon Cisse at cornerback, he was rotating in some with the number 1 defense. Chris McClellan, the defensive tackle, he was rotating in some with the number 1 defense. Now, Benjamin St. Juste at cornerback, Devontae Wyatt at defensive tackle, those guys were injured. Other guys were injured on the defensive line as well. So that played into, some of those situations. Jagger Burton, the 5th-round pick out of Kentucky on the offensive line, he was getting first-team reps due to injuries. So those are just things to watch for, I think, with these young guys in terms of the depth chart. And it certainly seems like the Packers are going to be working with those young guys to make sure they are absolutely 100% ready if they're indeed called upon in a situation, particularly early in the season.
Hey, Mike, I'm wondering about how the Packers are operating this week, because unless I'm misremembering, the Packers have done some sort of maybe team building, or they've kept the veterans around for a few extra days, and this year they're not doing that. Have we found a reason, or did Matt LaFleur explain that decision this year and why he might be switching it up a little bit?
Yeah, well, they had their team building exercise earlier in the spring during OTAs, and so they took care of that early on. And I think they, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I think they just decided that, they set things up for the veterans to be able to end things with mandatory minicamp, and then this extra week for the rookies. There's a lot of meetings and rookie development program stuff that they like to get that out of the way, when maybe there aren't all these other distractions with regard to practice and this and that. And a lot of the, I guess, orientation and rookie stuff is important to get through, and just have those players focused on it, and the veterans sort of get sent on their summer vacation a week early.
Mike Spofford, Packers.com, joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. I read the other day, Spoff, that you signed a new 4-year extension worth $110.5. No, that's Christian Watson.
Yeah.
There's a couple 2-tree deals that happened this offseason, but one big one that's still lurking in the shadows, and that's Tucker Kraft. Without giving us your sources, how's that going on that end?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, the fact that when Tucker Kraft did speak to the media before the veterans were excused, he made no secret of the fact that he wants to play his entire career in Green Bay. He certainly was signaling that something is in the works. I mean, how soon it will get done and whether that depends on his health and when he returns to the field, I mean, remains to be seen. But a lot of times in those situations when deals aren't done yet, the players are a little coy, or Tucker Kraft wasn't that. So that makes me and I don't have any inside information on this as far as what's happening or not happening, but just the way that Tucker was so open in talking about it, I mean, it tells me that it's definitely something in the works, and I think it sounds like the Packers are not going to let Tucker Kraft get anywhere close to free agency, which would be at the end of this upcoming season. They're not going to let him get anywhere close to free agency, and they're going to get something done here.
What an interesting spot for the Packers, though, because we talk a lot about, in the past anyway, contract years and how you don't want to have an injury going into a contract year. Why does that not matter for Tucker Kraft? Because it does for most other players, but with him, now we're gonna definitely pay you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I think it depends a lot on the player's injury history. Everybody on the inside knows, the extent of the injury and the surgery and where things are, in the comeback and whatnot. I mean, you think back a year ago when Christian Watson was coming off of his ACL, and the Packers and Watson agreed to a 1-year extension, right? It wasn't like a big monster deal right away. And I think Watson's injury history prior to the ACL had a lot to do with that. It was like, okay, we don't want Watson to come back in 2025 and be in a contract year. So they're going to extend him for a year and give him that security. And he felt good about things. And lo and behold, it all worked out. And now he is under contract long-term. But Tucker Kraft didn't have that, kind of injury history and whatnot. So I think it's just those individual cases are different in terms of how the organization looks at the player and the situation. Yeah, I mean, you think about the idea that assuming a Kraft deal gets done, that Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, and Tucker Kraft are all going to be under contract for multiple years here moving forward for Jordan Love. That feels like a really good spot to be in for Green Bay.
Well,
Great call
turn my
on that.
mic. Yeah, got to turn my mic on there so I can talk.
Aaron Morris, everybody.
I was wondering about Jaeger Burton, who you mentioned a little bit earlier. He seems to be the darling this year. There seems to be a darling every year when off-season stuff gets started, whether it's a younger guy or someone they bring over, whoever it may be. Has everything been going as good for Jaeger Burton as it seems to be coming out of camp? How is he adjusting, and is he actually going to find his way into that starting five on the offensive line?
Yeah, I still think Jagger Burton being a starter as a rookie is maybe a bit of a long shot because of how things are set up and the way the Packers came out of last season. That being said, wouldn't surprise me at all if Jagger Burton becomes absolutely the next man up, the sixth guy, as far as if anything were to happen at either guard spot or at center. I mean, he's played all three of those interior positions in college. It's one of the reasons the Packers drafted him. They felt, they liked, his ability at multiple spots. And, there's been a lot to like. And as I said, he was getting first team reps at both guard spots during OTAs and minicamp, partly due to injuries and whatnot. But when a rookie is given that opportunity, and then the next day at practice, he's still being given that opportunity, that tells you that he's doing something right. And I mean, the arrow is pointing up for Jagger Burton for sure. And again, that being said, the caveat at this time of year always is, pads aren't on yet, and nobody wins or loses playing time, especially in the trenches, until the pads go on. But all signs are pointing in the right direction for Burton. That I would envision him being one of those top next men up on the offensive line. Which then means, who knows how long it would be before he would potentially be a starter.
Mike Spofford from Packers.com joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. With no pads, Mr. Lucas Van Ness appears to be feeling just fine. I've ran into him a couple of times over the last few weeks. He shared he's doing really, really well. His performance on the field, again, with no pads, would confirm the way he feels is the way he's currently playing against guys like Jordan Morgan. Poor Jordan Morgan. Wrong guy to have a really good day against. So is that what you guys are seeing there too, is that Lucas may finally be the man who we've always known him to potentially be?
Yeah, I mean, things are looking that way and headed in that direction. I mean, Van Ness is finally healthy, right? I mean, even you go back a couple years ago, he was dealing with like an elbow injury, and that made it hard to do the pass rush moves that he wanted to do and whatnot. He got off to a really good start last year, and then he gets the foot injury when he sacks Joe Flacco at Lambeau Field. And then that ended up being a much more serious foot injury than anybody thought in the beginning. And he was out for a really long time. He did get back at the end of last season. And a lot of people forget, who was the one guy who got a sack of Caleb Williams in the playoff game in Chicago? It was Lucas Van Ness. Mm-hmm. So he's healthy now, and it looks like it. He's got the right attitude, the right approach. I think he's grateful for the opportunity that's going to be in front of him here with obviously Micah Parsons is not going to be back for the start of the season. There's going to be a lot on Lucas Van Ness in the first few weeks of the regular season. And I think he's embracing that. He's welcoming that challenge to see what he can bring to the defense. And what I've always liked about Lucas is that even if the sack numbers and whatnot haven't always been there in his career, he's an all-around defensive player. This is a guy who knows how to play the run as well as rush the passer. And I think the pass rush stuff is what's really going to start to show up this year. But he's always been a solid run defender, and they don't worry about the setting the edge against the run when he's on the field, and that's an important part of things too.
Sticking on the defensive side with the leader of the defense and Jonathan Gannon, he's got the the persona, I guess, or the narrative around him is that he's a little quieter and he's maybe a little awkward at times. How, in your opinion, do you think he's settled in so far in Green Bay through these first few weeks of practices, OTAs, mini camps?
Yeah, I mean, what we saw, at least what I saw on the field during OTAs and minicamp, is I saw a defensive coordinator who looked like he was having a lot of fun. It's almost like you look at Jonathan Gannon and that burden of being a head coach, with a struggling Cardinals team. It's like this burden has been lifted. He's back to coaching and coaching defense. And this is something that he really, really loves to do. I think he probably wants to be a head coach again in the NFL someday with another opportunity. But right now he's feeling kind of free and unburdened and having a heck of a lot of fun drawing stuff up for Lucas Van Ness and for Edgerrin Cooper, and getting to think about when Micah Parsons is going to be back, a month or 6 weeks into the regular season, whenever that is. I think he's in a really good headspace, and he's enjoying whatever this playbook is that he's building, because he talked about kind of building it from scratch. I think he's really enjoying himself, and he's fired up about this Packers defense.
So we're 6-7 weeks away from training camp, and I think this would be the time of the year where guys like you and Wes, Coach LaFleur, maybe good, like you guys are going to get a break, right? What are you doing for fun over the next 6-ish weeks?
Well, I don't get to just, drop the mic and walk out of the building for 6 weeks and then come back. I mean, there are other things to do. In my case, in particular, the Packers yearbook, we have a deadline. We need to get the Packers yearbook to the printer sometime in early July, so that we can get that back and get it on the shelves at the pro shop and your gas stations and grocery stores and everything before training camp begins. So that's kind of my big project work-wise. But otherwise, yes, I'm looking to try to get some time off in July, hopefully catch a Brewers game or two. As you know, Trevor, I'm a big Brewers fan, and love to catch some summer baseball before training camp starts. I was fortunate enough that I was at AmFam Field on Friday night for the Miz's.
No way!
Yeah. I was going to ask if you saw it. Yeah,
I was there, and it was my son and I were at the game last Friday night, and it was the most amazing thing I've seen on a Major League Baseball field. It was absolutely phenomenal.
We actually just talked to Jeff Levering about that exact same thing, and he said almost word for word, Spoff, that was the most incredible thing he's ever seen on a baseball field. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. My friends, close friends, know that I actually have a little clipboard, and I keep a scorecard at every Major League Baseball game that I attend. I have a whole stack of them over the years, and I keep a scorecard for that one time that I'm going to want to frame the scorecard to prove that I was at the game. And Friday night was it. After all these years, I finally have a scorecard that is going to be framed with pictures of my electronic tickets to show like where I was sitting and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was really something.
That's awesome.
All right, Aaron. Aaron, ask him before we let him go. Your question of the day.
No, it's not my question. A texter sent this in. Someone asked on our talking text line if Jacob Mizorowski threw a no-hitter to clinch the World Series, how comparable is that to Giannis scoring 50 to clinch the Bucks NBA Finals in 2021? Trevor's all over like it's not even close. It's Miz, and I'd say it's at least in the conversation.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the Miz hands down there. I mean, there's only been one no-hitter in the history of World Series baseball, and it was back in 1956. So you talk about the rarity and difficulty of that accomplishment. If something like that were to happen in the World Series, I mean, that would that goes on a pedestal that feels pretty unmatched to me, other than obviously Don Larson of the Yankees.
Spoff, what do you think? Sell some of the farm? Go get an arm? What do you think?
Boy, that's a good one. I mean, I this is interesting. They're bringing up Cooper Pratt now, right? So let's see.
Should be today.
Yeah, let's see what over this next month or so, what he brings, to the left side of the infield, what he can do offensively to boost things there. And then, maybe that puts a little clearer picture on where you need to spend, what you need to spend on at the trading deadline to get over the hump, because it felt like for these first couple months, like they got to get a bat for the left side of the infield, right? Well, maybe that bat is Cooper Pratt, and we're going to have a month to 6 weeks here to find out if he's that guy before they maybe have to make a different move.
Mike Spofford, Brewers insider, and he does some stuff at Packers.com too. Spoff, we appreciate you, bud. Thanks for jumping on. We'll talk again soon. Have a great summer. Let's take a little break, okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot, fellas.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
The guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Mike Spofford, Packers.com editor, by the way, but also big Brewers fan, just like you and I.
There's a lot of people who are, it doesn't always click in my mind that like Mike Spofford would be a huge Brewers fan, it doesn't always click like that for me, but it makes it makes all of the sense. It just, the way my brain works, it doesn't click like that.
What a frame that's going to be with Friday night's scorecard.
So cool.
In case you missed it, that performance, along with a particular few days here in Jackson Churio's career, got both of those guys the National League Players of the Week. Talk about having that one-upper friend. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. What was one thing that you were super proud of that you brought up and had somebody else in the conversation go, well, I see that and I raise you this? Or are you the one-upper friend? We'll find out next. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in for Josh today on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network just got bigger. Welcome to the city of Madison. You can now listen to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network in Madison on 94.9 HD2. Your favorite local shows, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the best Brewers coverage around with the leadoff show and the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show, 94.9 HD, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network in Madison. Inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor Thomas, typically Josh Albrecht, Aaron Morse in for Josh today. In case you missed it, we just chatted with Mike Spofford from Packers.com, who said he was at the game on Friday night when the Miz had a masterpiece. And at each game he goes to, he keeps a scorebook. He just texted me a picture of the scorebook, Aaron. What a masterpiece.
Oh.
I've never seen the minimum number of batters on a score sheet before like this. This is incredible.
Never seen a score sheet so clean before.
Very clean.
Right? I mean, because there weren't runners just in general, like just K or K and
many a K.
Yeah. So it's a very clean box score.
Not as many backwards Ks as I would have expected, having 15 strikeouts. There were only 2.
Well, they were all looking, and then they decided to swing extremely late just to make it look good.
Truth.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? So it was quite the night for Miz on Friday night, worthy of a major accolade, maybe the NL Player of the Week. Well, that was true until Jackson Chourio put together the week that he did, who said to Miz, hold my beer. I'm 21 now. I can have a Miller Lite. Hold my beer. From June 8th to June 14th, Jackson Chourio had 13 hits, 5 home runs, including 3 over the weekend, 10 RBI, and batted .448. Jacob Mizorowski, I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
9 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 0 walks, 15 strikeouts. If you're Chourio and you're having the week that you are, and then you see Miz come out of the mound on Friday night and go, well, there went my award. But then you're Jacob Mizorowski and you do what you did on Friday night and then see Jackson Chourio play Saturday and Sunday and went, you little punk.
You little bugger. Yeah.
Very much a one-upper situation. Jeff Levering didn't agree. But from the outside looking in, that would certainly be like, come on, why can't I have nice things?
Certainly wasn't intentional, but it's one up. They one-upped back and forth. It wasn't intentional. It's not like Chourio's like, no, I want the spotlight. But, basically it comes off that way, or it looks that way.
Tommy and Stalis on the Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. We all know a one-upper or two. I get a kick out of calling them out on their one-upping before they even get through their story, usually by finishing their story for them with some sort of grandiose finish.
Hey, braver than I am.
Well played.
I don't play the one-up game, or when someone's one-upping, I just kind of let them have their moment. It's more important to them than to me, so.
I have found in those situations that the power of silence is the approach. Let's just hypothetically say you're sitting in a group of friends and somebody tells an amazing story. Immediately, the one-upper comes in with well, this one time and it always starts with I.
Yeah.
Let them share their story and then literally don't acknowledge it. And just go right back to the story that was just told.
Yeah, I think this is different also than like, I think maybe what this is, maybe Miz and Chourio aren't really like one-upping each other. They're just like telling similar stories to each other. Like, because if you're in a group and someone tells a story like, oh yeah, it's kind of like, kind of like this one time I did I think there's a difference between like one-upping someone and sharing an experience that is alike. Is that
okay,
fair,
have you ever?
Am I being too semantic?
But let's go back to sports and just look at the comparables. Have you ever been? So here we go. On Thursday nights, my softball team, the Pink Flamingos, I called it a cult before I got into it. It's kind of like Josh's shirt cult that he does with this whole Roosevelt's thing. They award the Flamingos, we award a pink robe that has MVP on the back of it.
Okay.
It's the MVP robe to the MVP of the night on Thursday. It's Thursday night beer league softball. Okay. If this robe could talk, I think it's 40 plus years old. If this robe could talk, I'm fairly certain we'd all be in jail.
How many times that thing get washed?
We didn't kill anybody, but
do you ever wash it?
I think it gets washed. When I have had it in the past, and it's been a minute, and now it's going to be hard to get because I'm
didn't
retired.
Have to share that part.
Well, that's fair. Self-deprecation, I guess. I did not wash it.
Okay.
Because I was afraid it would fall apart. It is made of very thin material.
Okay.
When we play for this robe, that is a sought-after item. Some people take it very seriously. And I guess when I was in my prime, I did too. We all want the robe. It comes along with some things that we can't. It just, you want the robe, okay? Okay.
There's some benefits to being the MVP.
When you have what you believe is an MVP performance, and one of your other teammates one-ups said performance, and you don't get the robe, pissed.
Yeah, you feel a little, you feel gypped. You feel like you want your shine, even if it's not an ego thing. You're like, hey, did you see my game? Did you see what I did out there?
But if there was no robe, would we care? No.
You don't think so?
No. Hey, and the player of the game
that came with it, just without a robe.
And the player of the game is Bart. Congrats, Bart. Great game. We'd all go, yay, Bart. You give Bart a robe that somebody else feels like they also deserve to. And again, this comes with high honor. The robe is it's very recognizable in our community. Some people even wear it out into the community after they win it. I say bravo. Okay. But if you have so here's the other thing. Sometimes we use the robe as a joke.
Okay.
And if somebody makes a horrendous play that is wildly embarrassing, the robe has been known to be given to that person. But in comparison to the one-uppers, if you really have a night and then somebody else has a night and it's close and they win the robe over you, like Jackson Churio winning the robe or a co-robe, like, all right, you get the robe on Monday, I get it on Tuesday, that'd be weird.
You each share a sleeve?
Nah. Not recommended based on the stories of the robe.
Okay.
I just looked at that situation with Miz and Jackson Churio, especially how much history Jackson Churio didn't make with his week.
Yeah.
Yet Miz did, quite possibly, argument for another different day.
Yeah, so what was the MLB's reasoning for not just giving it to Miz? That he only pitched once? Like giving it solo?
I don't think they give you reasoning.
Yeah.
They just go, here you go.
So I guess Miz, he had the better week, right? Even though he pitched once and Churio had like 3 good performances. I feel like Miz, like he deserves it more than Churio did.
Right. Miz probably feels the same way, and Jackson would disagree. Okay. Who would get the robe in this case, though? There's only one robe.
I think Miz would defer and give it to Churio.
That's not what I asked. Who gets the robe in this scenario?
Churio.
No, it's Miz. Really?
No.
You think
Miz
Churio, huh?
Miz wouldn't wear it.
Well, that doesn't matter. Who gets the robe? You're saying Churio's performance.
Okay, no, then I would say Miz. Miz is the player of the week in my mind.
Yeah. And so when we saw the Co-NL player of the week thing come out, I was like, oh, did you have to do that because you batted 448? I get it. 5 home runs. I understand. But maybe an honorable mention would have been just fine. We don't really do honorable mentions with the robe. It's just here you go.
Bob
we do review.
Says that he's a one-upper.
Who is?
Bob in Minneapolis says he one-ups people, but only when it comes to Minnesota Vikings fans, when they get a little lippy, just reminds them that he grew up in a state that wins Super Bowls.
Rhino in Tosa. Ryan in Tosa. What color is the robe? Ryan, I'll give you one guess. The pink flamingos.
Brown.
I think it's definitely not redheaded. Yeah. It's pink. There's Trevor Stroll. Wait, you sweat in the robe and you didn't throw that away? I would be killed. Anyone, frankly, if you threw that robe away, would be killed.
What you said, 40 years old or so? Just for that alone, you can't. I mean, that's like a historic piece of artifact.
The Pink Flamingos started in like 1984. That's when the tournament started. So 43 years. I don't know when the robe came about, but I'm guessing it's moons, like 40 plus years ago. Again, if that thing could talk, I don't know that any of us would listen. Rice cake. Remember the Battle of the Jacksons? The national media gave the edge to Jackson Merrill and Jackson Holiday over Churio. Talk about a bad take.
Yeah, Merrill's struggling this year. And Jackson Holiday, he has been a nothing. Now we got National Player of the Week, Co-Player of the Week. Which one's better?
Miz. John
Miz
Kuhn.
is the better Jackson.
Yeah, in this case, 100%. Should be John Kuhn today, right?
I believe so.
We're going to cross over with our friends from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff when we get back. See what's coming up from 9 to noon today here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. The studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports, with Trevor and Josh, Aaron Morse in today.
The Queen of Spice is heating up breakfast at Wendy's with new items like their jalapeno sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, jalapeno bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, and spicy side twist of jalapeno bacon seasoned potatoes. Available for a limited time, so get a bite while you can and spice up your morning at Wendy's. And did you know any youth sports player can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform? That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty?
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Aaron Morse in this morning for Josh. And joining us now as we cross over with our friends from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff, our friend John Kuhn. JK, there was a moment yesterday when we saw the NL Players of the Week come out. And when I say players, plural, both The Miz as well as Jackson Chourio. Is there a moment in your career that you remember, John, you having a fantastic game, but then somebody had to go and one-up you and won something like NFC Player of the Week or something like that?
Well, it's very difficult for a fullback in today's NFL to get Player of the Week. Now, back in the day when Jim Taylor was running around as a fullback, I'm sure he accompanied that award of a time or two, maybe even Mike Allstott when he was carrying the rock 20, 25 times a game. But for me, no. I will say that there are times when you have exceptional games and you might not get winning performance because the coach decided to grade where your hand placement was rather than the finish of your block. So, I mean, sometimes it just is what it is. But, hey, The Miz and Chourio both had fantastic weeks. I think Chourio is homered in 5 straight, and The Miz with the near-perfect game. I mean, I don't know how you don't give it to both.
What's your next summer weeks like when you're in the NFL and the summer break arrives? We just had Mike Spofford on from Packers.com, who we hope also gets a little bit of a break. But from this point, which is apparently rookie minicamp 2.0, until training camp, John, what was your summer like?
It was just like yours. It was just like everybody else's. You try to enjoy yourself one last time and really take advantage of that last calm before the storm, because training camp can be a storm. It really can. When you're talking, and training camps have changed over the years, but training camp is still daunting for this current age of players. When you talk about 6 straight weeks of practice, and there are moments where it peps up for a minute or two, but nothing to really simulate a game. You got preseason games. They're not really a game. You might have a live period in practice. That's not going to do a whole lot for you with a play or two. So you're trying to figure out this way to prepare and get your body ready for a season without actually, having those live bullets fly like a regular season game. With that being said, that's 6 straight weeks of that. You have to, before you get into that, relax, enjoy yourself, get away, refresh the mind. But at the same time, you got to grind and work out and make sure that when you come into camp, you didn't just take the last 6 weeks getting lazy and complacent. So it's a little bit of a mix of the two. But hey, everybody else works during the summer, so players to go work out and treat their bodies right and do the accompanied type of treatment and physical therapy they have to do. That's just all part of a daily schedule.
John, a texter earlier, we were talking about Giannis's closeout game in Game 6, his 50 points in the finals, and asked that game, the 50-point to close out the finals, and the texter said, what about if Miz threw a no-hitter to close out the World Series? Which would be a better performance?
No-hitter in the World Series, no doubt about it. Not even a question in mind. Although Giannis's closeout is among the best, if not the best, closeout performance. I know Jordan had 45 on the road at Utah. I know Jalen Brunson just had 45 on the road against the Spurs, but Giannis doing 50 burger to finish a four-game sweep after going down 0-2, Bucks and 6 with the chance and everything. And the fact that, what was it? Did he go 20 for 21 or did he go 19 for 20 from the free throw line?
Something
during
close.
those playoffs where everybody was counting. I mean, what you're talking about here is a guy who had a true shooting percentage of like 65%, which is the highest we've ever seen, I think, out of an NBA Finals MVP. That is one of the best performances you'll ever see in a Finals closeout game.
What's coming up from 9 to noon with you and Rami Makloff and Brandon Snide today?
little bit of excitement on a Brewers off day about their two players of the week named, just as we mentioned. Wemby, did he hurt his image? Not just with getting pushed around in the finals, but the way he acted personally, maybe after the game was over. And then finally, in lieu of Patrick Mahomes getting his new contract extension, if you remember, he's only a year ahead of Jordan Love on his scheduled contract extensions. Jordan Love, looking at next year, getting a mighty big payday. What do you got to see out of him this season to ensure that next season we don't ever pay?
Coming up next on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, 9 to noon, John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Brandon Snide. John, we'll talk to you in a few.
Sounds good, guys.
Aaron, what was the highlight of your last 2 days, my friend? Not 4 a.m., I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, that's not great for me. I'm a night owl, so maybe the highlight will be that I get a normal night of sleep tonight before coming back on the show on Thursday.
Yeah, you're filling in for me on Thursday.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Trevor's taking off on a
No, you
Thursday?
never take off.
Not on a Thursday.
I'm sure
he's
Josh will have
working.
some comment.
I will make a bet for whatever amount of money you would like. I'm going to see Garth Brooks tomorrow night.
Okay.
That's why I'm taking off Thursday morning.
Okay. That's a good enough reason, I think.
Garth is opening up Summerfest tonight and tomorrow night at the amphitheater on the Summerfest grounds. I cannot wait. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Josh will be back tomorrow morning. I'm out on Thursday. We're back in the chair together again on Friday. Brewers, Guardians tonight, 6:40. That's on the docket from a Wisconsin sports perspective. And watching Rookie Minicamp 2.0 finish up with the Packers and OTAs before we just sit on our hands for about 6 weeks and wonder what Packers football is going to be this season. Aaron, thanks for filling in, buddy. We appreciate you.
It. Of course, anytime.
We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.